Imagine a place where Latin rhythms echo through every street. A place where the nightlife never truly sleeps. And where beautiful, charismatic women have become part of the image that captivates people around the world. This is Colombia, a land of energy, vibrant colors, and stories filled with surprises. But behind the glamour lies a very different reality. Luxury neighborhoods can stand just a few blocks away from struggling communities. The gap between rich and poor is impossible to ignore. Society is shaped by a unique social structure, and millions of people continue striving for a better future despite countless challenges. So what is life in Colombia really like? What makes this country one of the most fascinating destinations in South America? Let's explore the colorful yet complex reality of this remarkable nation. Few places reveal Colombia's contrasts more clearly than Medellin. For many people, the name Medellin immediately brings to mind Pablo Escobar, the infamous drug lord who once turned this city into a symbol of violence and fear. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Medellin was engulfed in bloody conflicts between rival criminal groups. Crime rates soared, and the city earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous places on earth. But that is not the most remarkable part of the story. What makes Medellin extraordinary is how it rose from that dark past. Today, Medellin has transformed into one of Colombia's leading centers for business, technology, and tourism. Modern transportation systems, including elevated metro lines and cable cars connecting hillside communities, have helped reshape the city. Bold urban development projects have completely changed its image. And nowhere is that transformation more visible than in Comuna 13. Once considered one of the city's most dangerous districts, heavily influenced by gangs and violence, Comuna 13 has become a powerful symbol of rebirth. Massive graffiti murals cover the walls. Spontaneous hip-hop performances fill the narrow streets. Visitors from around the world come here to witness one of the most inspiring urban transformations of modern times. Yet Medellin is known for more than its troubled past and remarkable recovery. When the sun goes down, the city reveals an entirely different side. Neighborhoods such as El Poblado come alive with bright lights and endless energy. Bars are packed with people. Latin music fills the air. Passionate salsa dancers keep moving until sunrise. The people here love celebrations and embrace life with incredible enthusiasm. That atmosphere creates a unique charm that keeps many visitors coming back again and again. However, beneath the excitement, challenges still remain. Some lower-income areas continue to struggle with relatively high crime rates. Visitors are often advised to avoid walking alone at night in isolated locations. Even so, with common sense and proper precautions, Medellin remains one of the most rewarding cities to explore in South America. It is more than a symbol of Colombia's transformation. It is proof of humanity's ability to rise again, even after the most difficult chapters of history. But to truly understand Colombia, we must look at something even more unique. A system that influences the lives of nearly every citizen in the country. It is known as the Estrato system. If you think only wealthy nations have clearly defined social divisions, Colombia may surprise you. Here, residential areas are classified into 6 different levels, known as Estrato 1 through Estrato 6. The higher the level, the greater the difference in quality of life. Infrastructure, public services, security, and living conditions all reflect a neighborhood's position within the social hierarchy. Estrato 1, 2, and 3 are generally home to lower-income families. Small houses stand closely together. Local convenience stores line crowded streets. Many residents work in labor-intensive jobs, earning a living one day at a time. Meanwhile, Estrato 4 and 5 are home to Colombia's middle class. The apartment buildings are more modern. Public services are better. The neighborhoods are generally safer, cleaner, and more stable. But in Estrato 6, the picture changes completely. Luxury villas, high-end condominiums, rooftop swimming pools, private parking garages, and strict security systems create a world that often feels completely separate from the rest of the city. Sometimes, the differences reveal themselves in the smallest details. In certain neighborhoods, people can leave a phone or laptop on a cafe table without giving it a second thought. In other areas, doing so would be almost unthinkable. What makes the system even more significant is that it does not simply reflect where a person lives. It often influences the opportunities available to them throughout their lives. A child born in Estrato 1 or 2 usually has fewer opportunities to access high-quality education than a child growing up in a wealthier neighborhood. And that is only the beginning of Colombia's story of social inequality. Meanwhile, families living in Estrato 5 and 6 often have access to international schools, modern educational environments, and advantages that can shape their future in profound ways. Many people compare the Estrato system to a hotel rating system. Some neighborhoods are treated almost like two-star accommodations. Others resemble five-star resorts in the heart of the city. Although debates about fairness continue, there is no denying that the Estrato system has become deeply woven into Colombian society. It does not merely determine where you live. It can influence electricity costs, water bills, taxes, and even the quality of public services available to you. As a result, two parallel worlds often exist within the same city. On one side, brightly lit districts filled with modern buildings and economic opportunity. On the other, narrow streets where the daily struggle to earn a living continues uninterrupted. Yet regardless of social class, Colombians share something important. They know how to enjoy life. They find reasons to celebrate even during difficult times. And that is just one of the many things that make this country so unique. Because whenever Colombia is discussed, one topic almost always enters the conversation: the beauty of Colombian women. Colombia is famous not only for its breathtaking landscapes and vibrant culture. It is also widely regarded as the homeland of some of the most attractive women in Latin America. It is no coincidence that Colombia frequently appears in international beauty competitions and global rankings. But what exactly creates this reputation? The answer lies in the country's extraordinary cultural diversity. A blend of indigenous, European, and African heritage has created a distinctive beauty that is instantly recognizable. Thick hair, healthy, sun-kissed skin, striking facial features, and a confident presence that naturally draws attention wherever they go. Yet perhaps the most captivating quality is not physical appearance at all. It is the energy they carry. Colombian women grow up surrounded by music. Salsa, bachata, and reggaeton are not simply forms of entertainment. They are part of everyday life. Step into a bar in Medellin or Cartagena, and you will immediately feel it. The music begins. People move naturally with the rhythm. No hesitation, no self-consciousness, just pure enjoyment of the moment. From an early age, many Colombians are exposed to music and dance. Over time, this helps develop a sense of confidence, openness, and positive energy that has become one of the country's defining characteristics. However, the story of beauty in Colombia has another side that receives far less attention. A side shaped by expectations. A side shaped by pressure. The pressure to look beautiful. Over the years, cosmetic surgery has become increasingly common in major Colombian cities such as Medellin and Cali. Many people turn to aesthetic procedures in the hope of improving their appearance and boosting their confidence. As a result, Colombia has gradually earned a reputation as one of Latin America's leading destinations for cosmetic treatments. Every year, thousands of international visitors travel here seeking beauty procedures that often cost significantly less than in many other countries. But in the end, what makes Colombian women truly remarkable is not society's beauty standards. It is their confidence, the way they carry themselves, the way they express who they are. Today, more Colombian women are pursuing higher education, building successful careers, and taking on influential roles throughout society. They are admired not only for their appearance, but also for their independence, determination, and strength of character. Another quality that leaves a lasting impression is the importance they place on family. In Colombian culture, family relationships remain at the very center of life. Strong family bonds are deeply valued. Connections between generations are carefully preserved, and these traditions continue to shape how people build relationships and communities. But if there is one thing visitors never forget after leaving Colombia, it is the country's nightlife. When the sun goes down, Colombia seems to awaken in an entirely different way. Streets that appeared calm during the day suddenly burst into life. Lights glow from every corner. Music fills the air. Laughter echoes through the night. Nightlife here is not simply entertainment. It is part of Colombia's soul. In cities such as Medellin, Bogota, and Cartagena, entertainment districts come alive as soon as darkness falls. One of the most famous examples is El Poblado in Medellin. The neighborhood is packed with bars, restaurants, and nightclubs that attract both locals and visitors. The moment you step into the area, you can feel the energy that has become synonymous with Colombia. Reggaeton beats pulse through the streets. Salsa rhythms spill out of crowded venues. Bachata melodies drift through the warm evening air. Groups of friends gather to celebrate. Couples lose themselves in energetic dances. But Colombians do not simply go out to party. They embrace every moment. And nowhere is that more obvious than on the dance floor. It is not unusual to see complete strangers dancing together just seconds after the music begins. No introductions, no awkward formalities, just music serving as a universal language, a language that brings everyone together. Perhaps nowhere is this more evident than in salsa. In Colombia, salsa is far more than a dance. It is a cultural identity, a form of self-expression, a way of communicating without speaking a single word. And once you understand that, you begin to understand why Colombia leaves such a powerful impression on millions of visitors from around the world. Yet Colombia's nightlife is not limited to elegant clubs and crowded bars. Some of its most fascinating moments happen right on the streets. Along busy avenues and crowded intersections, spontaneous performances can appear without warning. A traffic light turns red. Suddenly, a group of performers steps into the road. They dance. They perform acrobatics. They showcase hip-hop routines, all within a matter of seconds. Then, as soon as the light turns green, they disappear back into the flow of the city. For Colombians, this is not an unusual sight. It is part of everyday life. For many people, every moment represents an opportunity to earn a little extra income, and at the same time, an opportunity to bring joy to someone else's day. That unique combination of resilience, creativity, and optimism can be found everywhere in Colombia. It is woven into the rhythm of the streets. And perhaps more than anything else, it reveals the true spirit of the nation. Alongside music and dancing, drinks are an essential part of gatherings that often last late into the night. Colombians enjoy beer, rum, and especially aguardiente, a strong anise-flavored spirit that has become a symbol of celebrations, festivals, and social gatherings across the country. It is often enjoyed alongside popular street foods such as grilled meats, arepas, and empanadas. Simply sitting down at a small roadside restaurant is enough to experience the warm and welcoming atmosphere that defines Colombian culture. However, like many countries across Latin America, Colombia's nightlife is not always completely risk-free. In some areas, pickpocketing, theft, and scams targeting tourists can still occur. For that reason, visitors who plan to stay out until the early hours of the morning are advised to keep an eye on their belongings and avoid isolated places when traveling alone. Even so, with a little common sense and proper caution, Colombia can offer unforgettable experiences. Nights filled with music, people overflowing with energy, and an atmosphere that few places in the world can truly replicate. But to understand Colombia more deeply, we need to leave the entertainment districts behind. Because one of the most important parts of this country can be found in the simplest aspects of everyday life. The struggle to make a living. If you spend time in Medellin, Bogota, or Cartagena, you quickly realize that Colombia has one of the most vibrant street economies in South America. Here, entrepreneurship can be found everywhere, on street corners, along sidewalks, and woven into the daily routines of millions of people. Colombians rarely sit and wait for opportunities to arrive. Instead, they create opportunities for themselves through any honest work they can find. Along busy streets, vendors push carts loaded with fresh fruit, fruit juices, snacks, and countless small goods. Bright green avocados, golden ripe mangoes, sweet pineapples stacked in colorful displays. Together, they create a lively street scene bursting with color and movement. One of the most striking things is how affordable and fresh much of the food remains. For many lower-income workers, inexpensive street meals provide a practical way to enjoy a filling meal without spending a large portion of their income. But food is only part of the story. Flowers may be even more surprising. In Colombia, flowers are far more than decoration. They are woven into the culture itself, a part of everyday life. People buy flowers to decorate their homes, give them to loved ones, or simply brighten their surroundings. Walk through a local market, and you will see vibrant displays everywhere. Roses, chrysanthemums, exotic tropical orchids, and countless other varieties arranged in brilliant colors. What many visitors do not realize is that Colombia is one of the world's largest flower exporters. This industry provides employment for hundreds of thousands of people and plays an important role in the national economy. Yet the story of earning a living in Colombia extends far beyond flowers and food. Street performance has also become an important source of income for many people. At busy intersections, performers often use the brief moments when traffic lights turn red to showcase their talents. A few seconds, sometimes less than a minute, but enough time to capture the attention of dozens of drivers waiting behind the wheel. When the performance ends, They quickly move between vehicles collecting small tips from those who enjoyed the show. What makes this particularly interesting is the respect many locals have for these performers. They see it as honest work, a way of earning a living through talent, creativity, and determination. Colombia is also home to professions that surprise many first-time visitors. One of them is dog walking. As modern urban life becomes increasingly busy, many pet owners struggle to find enough time to care for their animals. As a result, an entirely new profession has emerged. It is not unusual to see a single person walking 10 or even 15 dogs at the same time through city streets, a scene that feels both amusing and uniquely characteristic of modern Colombian cities. But even that is only part of a much larger transformation, because one of the fastest growing sectors in Colombia today is being driven by technology and delivery platforms, and it is changing the lives of millions of workers across the country. For many Colombians, all it takes is a motorcycle or an electric bicycle to start earning an income. Delivery work has become a popular option for unemployed young people, recent graduates, and those who prefer the freedom of flexible work over a traditional office job. With a smartphone in hand and an app installed, a new source of income becomes available almost immediately. For some, it is a temporary solution. For others, it has become a full-time career. And as Colombia continues to modernize, these digital platforms are creating opportunities that barely existed just a decade ago. They represent a new chapter in the country's economy, a chapter where technology, ambition, and resilience come together to reshape everyday life. They choose their own schedules. They decide their own routes. And they take advantage of the rapid growth of technology platforms to build a reliable source of income. Making a living in Colombia has never been easy. Yet Colombians have always found ways to adapt. They do not wait for opportunities to appear. They create opportunities for themselves. That mindset has helped countless people overcome hardship. Persistent, flexible, always moving forward. Colombia is not defined only by modern skyscrapers or wealthy neighborhoods. It is also built upon millions of everyday stories. Stories of ordinary people working hard to support their families. And it is those stories that create the unique energy that keeps this country constantly in motion. But like any nation, behind the bright colors and lively atmosphere lie more complicated realities. Realities that every visitor should understand before arriving. Colombia is a land of contrasts. Between brightly lit avenues and shadowy alleyways. Between modern development and security challenges that still remain. One of the most common concerns is street crime. Although safety has improved dramatically since the height of the drug cartel era, pickpocketing and theft still occur in certain areas. That is why Colombians often repeat a well-known piece of advice. Don't give thieves a reason. It may sound unusual at first, but it reflects a practical reality. If you openly display expensive possessions, you may unintentionally attract unwanted attention. For this reason, visitors are often advised to avoid flashy jewelry, limit phone use in crowded places, and avoid walking alone late at night. Yet petty theft is only one part of the story. Tourist scams can also be found in some major cities. Sometimes it begins with a friendly conversation, sometimes with an offer of assistance that appears completely harmless. But hidden behind the kindness may be an attempt to take advantage of unsuspecting visitors. Some individuals present themselves as tour guides or helpful locals in order to gain trust before seeking money or valuables. And that is not always the greatest risk. In certain tourist destinations, there have also been reports of romance-related scams. Some foreign visitors become involved in relationships that appear genuine and exciting, only to discover later that they have been manipulated into losing significant amounts of money. There are even more troubling stories. Criminals have, on occasion, used dangerous, incapacitating substances to gain control over victims and steal their belongings. For that reason, locals consistently advise visitors never to accept drinks, medications, or unfamiliar items from strangers, no matter how friendly they may seem. At this point, Colombia may sound intimidating, but there is something important to remember. The Colombia of today is very different from the Colombia many people still imagine. Millions of tourists visit the country every year, and the overwhelming majority leave with positive memories. The key is awareness. Use trusted ride-hailing apps. Avoid locations that feel unsafe or suspicious, and remain alert to your surroundings. If you do that, you will discover a very different side of Colombia. A Colombia that is welcoming, energetic, and full of life. In many ways, it is precisely the contrast between light and shadow that makes this country so fascinating. The challenges are real. but so are the opportunities. The risks exist, but so does the warmth of its people. And perhaps that is why an increasing number of foreigners are choosing to make Colombia their home. Not because it is perfect, but because it feels alive. A place where every street tells a story. Every neighborhood reveals a different reality. And every day offers the possibility of something unexpected. A country shaped by resilience, driven by passion, and constantly reinventing itself. The more time you spend here, the more you realize that Colombia is far more than the stereotypes that once defined it. It is a nation of transformation, a nation of contradictions, and ultimately, a nation that continues to surprise the world. But what attracts many foreigners is not perfection. It is the fact that Colombia offers a remarkably high quality of life at a relatively affordable cost. In recent years, Colombia has steadily become a favorite destination for expatriates, retirees, and remote workers from around the world. The appeal goes far beyond the pleasant climate and beautiful scenery. For many people, the biggest attraction is the cost of living. Compared to many Western countries, everyday expenses can be significantly lower. Housing is usually the largest expense, yet it remains surprisingly affordable. In Medellin, a one-bedroom apartment in a desirable central neighborhood often costs far less than a similar apartment in cities like New York or London. For many foreigners, that difference can be life-changing. Food is another major advantage. Delicious local meals can be found at reasonable prices, while even upscale restaurants are often considerably less expensive than those in many major global cities. Those who prefer cooking at home can reduce costs even further thanks to the abundance of fresh produce available in local markets. Personal services are also relatively accessible. Haircuts, house cleaning, home maintenance, and many other everyday services. Because labor costs are lower, many residents can enjoy conveniences that might be considered luxuries elsewhere. Transportation is another positive aspect of life in Colombia. Ride-hailing services are widely available. Medellin's metro system is often regarded as one of the most modern public transportation networks in Latin America. Many people also rely on motorcycles and electric bicycles to move efficiently through the city. But living in Colombia is not without its challenges. And surprisingly, the first obstacle many foreigners encounter is not cost or security. It is language. Spanish dominates daily life throughout the country. For newcomers who do not speak the language, even simple tasks can become difficult during the first months of living there. Yet language is only one of several challenges. There are other realities that many people discover only after arriving. International money transfers can sometimes involve complex procedures due to financial regulations. Tax obligations are another important consideration for those planning to build a business or settle long-term. All of this means Colombia is not the perfect paradise some people imagine. But perhaps that imperfection is exactly what makes it so fascinating. If you enjoy warm weather, affordable living, and an energetic Latin lifestyle, Colombia may be one of the most rewarding places you could experience. Particularly for people earning income from abroad, the country offers an opportunity to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle while spending considerably less than they would in many developed nations. However, if you are searching for a place that is completely predictable, perfectly organized, and free of cultural challenges, Colombia may not be the ideal choice. Because this is a country built on contrasts. A place where modern skyscrapers rise above neighborhoods that still struggle with poverty. Where lively bars stay open until sunrise, while just a few streets away, families work tirelessly to make ends meet. A place where the past continues to leave its mark. Yet the future is being built every single day. It is this intersection between two worlds that gives Colombia its unique character. A character that is captivating, mysterious, and impossible to fully understand without experiencing it firsthand. There is a reason millions of visitors come here every year. They arrive for the breathtaking mountains, for the colorful cities, for the Latin music that seems to echo from every street corner. But many stay longer than they originally planned because of the people. People full of energy. People who know how to celebrate life. People who continue to smile even when facing challenges. When you visit Colombia, you do not simply see a country. You experience a rhythm, a pulse, a spirit that is difficult to describe with words alone. It is the feeling of an entire city dancing during a festival night. The sound of music drifting through narrow streets. The stories of ordinary people working hard to build a better future. And even the imperfections that make the country feel more real. Colombia is not perfect, but perhaps that is precisely why it is unforgettable. It is a place that makes you curious, makes you cautious, and makes you want to discover more with every experience. And when all is said and done, the most remarkable thing about Colombia may not be its famous landmarks or postcard-perfect views. It may be the feeling the country leaves behind, a feeling that stays with you long after you leave, a feeling that is vibrant, powerful, and impossible to forget. So what about you? If you had the opportunity, would you be willing to explore this land of contrasts for yourself? A country where beauty and struggle coexist, where history and modernity collide, and where every corner has a story waiting to be told.